Hi, welcome to the PoliticAL update with me, Alexandra Acker-Lyons. I pay attention to the political news so you don't have to, and I share the advice I give to millionaires with you for free. It's Friday, September 12th. Hello from beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm here for a board meeting and staying the weekend to get to explore a little bit. And I've been here before for work, but never got to hang out and have fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. Candidate news this week, we heard that Governor Janet Mills in Maine is interviewing campaign managers for a potential run for the Senate, which will, of course, make Maine an extremely competitive Senate race. Knew that going in. Susan Collins is the only Republican currently sitting in a Senate seat that in a state that was won by the Harris-Walz campaign. So more on that when we have it. And then, relatedly, Governor Tim Walz has said he is very likely to run for a third term, so that will put an end to some speculation in Minnesota, which will have, of course, an open U.S. Senate seat and several competitive congressional races, too. Other political news this week, Missouri is well on their way to gerrymandering their maps. They will likely only pick up one seat there. Several other states, including Florida, are starting to move forward. Once again, don't despair. California is the must win. We absolutely have to pass the new maps in California in order to cancel out the likely 5 seats in Texas. And then Republicans will probably only be able to pick up another 7 or 8. These states are already so gerrymandered, there's only so much they can do. We can still overcome that and take back the House. It's going to take work, and it's going to take leadership, something we're not seeing a ton of really anywhere. More on that when the shutdown fight kind of kicks into full gear. And then want to call attention to the Bulwark. They had a great story this week called "Here's a Shocking Idea. Democrats Don't All Have to Sound Alike." And they kind of talk about how both Abigail Spanberger, Mondami in New York, and several other candidates can have very different styles, very different, in some cases, policy views, still fall under our big tent of Democrats and still all hold the same core values. And I think that that's going to be just a really important point for everyone going forward. Of course, this was a very heavy week. The 9/11 anniversary is hard for the country. It's hard for me personally. And then, of course, on Wednesday, we had the horrific shooting of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk. This is just, it's really hard. Political violence is unfortunately not something new to our country. Obviously, we saw a bunch of assassinations in the 50s and 60s. Of course, the history of lynchings in our country is political violence. We had anti-abortion and clinic violence in the 90s. So we can simultaneously strongly condemn all forms of political violence, no matter who it is against, whether it's Charlie Kirk or Donald Trump, or against the politicians in Minnesota this summer. Tons of elected officials across both sides get threats every day. At the same time, Charlie Kirk was not a good guy, and his rhetoric was divisive and contributed to a lot of these feelings that people have of hatred against the enemy. This is not just someone that you're arguing against, and he kind of had this facade of, I'm going to go to a campus and I'm going to argue against a bunch of liberals and try to convince them, but he spit out a lot of bile on his podcast and in other ways. And so again, we can simultaneously condemn and mourn his death and condemn his own words. If you're looking for ways that you can help, there is an organization called Bridge USA, which works with young people to bridge political divides. I think in this moment, especially considering that this happened on a campus and that he led a youth focused organization, that feels really important in this moment. Common Ground USA is another great organization. And then for Utah specifically, there's a wonderful organization called Mormon Women for Ethical Government. They do a ton of advocacy and political work. They are bipartisan, nonpartisan, all partisan, and they are really helping to kind of lead some healing efforts in Utah right now. My shout out of the week goes to the amazing people of New Mexico. It has been really fun to be down here. I am actively helping Deb Haaland's campaign for governor. Got to hang out with some elected officials while I was here this week. It is a gorgeous state with an incredibly rich history that obviously predates what we know of as American history. Got to go tour the Roundhouse yesterday, which I had never been to before, which is their state capitol, which is a round building. It's a really unique state capitol filled with incredible art. Learned about kind of the history. The oldest continually occupied government building in America is in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it was their original state capital. Love tour guides. Thank you, tour guides. So come on out to New Mexico and give them a wave. Thank you all. Hard week. Look forward to talking next week. Thanks.